Hi everyone, I'm Scott Feinberg from The Hollywood Reporter. Thank you for tuning in to our Songwriter Roundtable. We are so thrilled to be joined by 5 incredible artists who are responsible for some of the best original songs that you've heard in films in 2021. This is a treat to have so much talent at one table. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to get into your process and inspirations and all of that sort of stuff. But first, just because we're here talking about original songs for movies, do you remember the first time, and anyone can just jump in if you know the answer, the first original song in a movie that really stood out to you, where it was used well in a film, made an impact on you?
Mine's going to be so not sophisticated.
You go first.
All right, I was going to say, actually, I'm just realizing the irony of this, Cinderella by the Cheetah Girls.
There you go.
Nice.
Not very sophisticated,
Hey,
but it's
it's
about.
cool, yeah.
That's a banger.
Well, so let's get the basic stuff out of the way. How did you come to each of these projects? Camila, let me...
sick.
Yeah, it's just a great story.
Speaking of musicals.
Yes, I know, exactly. Cinderella, it's been done a million times, but never quite like this. And of course, you know, people have gotten to know you over the last few years, both with Fifth Harmony and then on your own, and so many hits. But I guess, did we just not know that you always wanted to act as well, or was that was that something that has been a big passion of yours for a long time?
Well, I always, like, in my music videos, that was my favorite thing about music videos, like getting the chance to be a part of a narrative and get to kind of explore different sides of myself. And yeah, I was in drama class when I was in middle school, and I feel like that's kind of how I came into singing too. It was just like, I don't know, I remember that like drama period in my class being where I felt like I could express myself and overcome my shyness in school. And my drama teacher was the first person that I actually sang in front of ever. Because I feel like, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but so many of my heroes are like, you know, I was like 4 years old and I was like putting on shows for my family, and I was like not like that. I was like so shy when I was little. And yeah, like my drama teacher and my drama class was, I think, where I first was like, oh, I love getting on stage and performing, whether it be singing or like doing like a funny like improv thing or whatever. And so I think I always was like, you know, music is my kind of first love, like my first vehicle for expressing myself. But if the right thing kind of, I stumbled upon the right thing, I would like be so hyped to explore acting. But obviously it's like, can I swear on here?
Please do.
It was fucking terrifying for it to be like the first acting project that I did, like me have the lead role in it. And like that be the first time.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So like that was really scary.
Does it make it, yeah, I'm wondering, easier or harder to have that you're blending both the acting and the singing so
Easier.
much? Yeah?
So much easier. Like I felt like for that movie, like writing the song for it and also it being a musical and there being singing in it, like the singing part was like fucking like piece. I was like, I'm home. Like, here we go. This is a music video. The acting part was, I think, where I had to really grow and learn a lot. And like literally by the end of that experience, I feel like, you know, not just in my acting, of course, but like as a human being, I was like, well, I really learned a lot about myself during this experience because I was so fucking scared for the first part of it.
I think you've all at one time or another done songs for movies before. It's not this is not, or maybe
no, this is my
your first
time.
one.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start with you then and go around and just like so many of you guys, and especially you, Scott, I think like, you know, you are so associated with writing very personal things that to then go and write something that's not, I feel like it must be a jarring change. But so I guess I'd like to hear that from Camila, and then we'll go around.
Well, I was in the middle of writing my second album, and I was like in the middle of doing that, and at the same time knowing that I was gonna work on this film, and I had like, I think like a week or two, or I think just a week like in my schedule to be like, you know, let's try to kind of crack the code on this song. And I had asked, I wanted to write it with one other person. It was my first time working with Scott Harris, who I just did my last album with. And yeah, I basically, I read the script, I like made notes, I like looked up quotes on Pinterest that were very like, like to me, the Cinderella, this story was one of ambition and kind of fighting your own inner doubt and your fears and kind of seeing something for yourself that maybe other people don't see and that you don't even see for yourself sometimes. And so I was kind of looking up kind of like the inspirational quotes and drawing from the script and stuff. But I think like when it came down to it, I don't think that I know how to write in any other way that isn't personal to me. Right. So to me, it was kind of like at that time, like to be totally honest, I was like going through a really hard time like with my mental health and like, I don't know, it was just a period of, I think, a lot of like anxiety and like sadness for me. And that song, like Million to One, was I think me feeling like I could, channeling that into like I can overcome this and like I know that I can make my life better and like, when I feel my fear staring at me, that I feel like I channeled my personal journey into the one of the character because I actually feel like even when talking to my director, Kay Cannon, about the song, it was like the character was set up to be this kind of like super confident, like everybody was telling her no and she knew. And I was like, well, I don't even think that's like realistic because sometimes like you do have, in a situation like that, I felt like my character would kind of like have fear when so many people were putting her down, where I feel like she's like struggling and like beating it and overcoming it. And so, yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, I feel like it wasn't personal in the sense of like these details. Like usually it would be like, last Wednesday, whatever. So I think it was less detailed, but I still like feel like I kind of had to draw from personal experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the interesting commonality of you guys is the amount of genre hopping. And I guess if somebody asked you, if somebody came out from under a hole and said, oh, they didn't know you, hey, I'm Anderson .Paak, what kind of music do you make? Camila?
Well, right now I'm super inspired by my Mexican and Cuban heritage. For this album, which the name is Familia, it's been really fun to work with Latin writers and explore writing a song that's in English, but to a song that has mariachi in it. I think it's like really fun to explore all the richness of my culture, but bring it to an audience that maybe, wouldn't be able to access that. Yeah. So that's been really exciting for me.
When did you guys each feel you'd first, quote unquote, made it as an artist? Was there a moment?
Now.
Was there right now? Yeah. Well, we're glad to be of service with that. I just wonder, what is your measure of success?
To me, success is like being able to ignore that, to ignore the outcome of things and what people are gonna think, and just make things that to me feel new and interesting and weird and like make me feel like, oh, I did something, I think that's fucking cool, and like I don't really care if other people like it. Like to me, that's the feeling of success, feeling like, and I recognize that that's like a huge privilege and like a big like luxury to be able to like, test shit out and like do it for me, not for other people.
And you guys, a number of you have that kind of, I don't know if you would, it's a blend between a mentor and a colleague or a collaborator. I mean, for you, I guess it was certainly, it's been Kanye, right? Yeah. And Dre, and Camila, is there somebody like that?
I've been all alone.
Yes, you're doing all right. Yeah.
No, I think I've been lucky to have people like at different times in my life. I wouldn't say like mentors really, but people that have definitely shown me kindness, like, when I was really young, like 16, 17, and I was still in Fifth Harmony, and I was just starting to write songs. Like while I was in Fifth Harmony, I remember wake up at like 7 in the morning, go early to a hotel room, put my laptop in the bathroom, and like, I know it's weird. I used to write songs in the bathroom because I'm like a big like corner person.
And it also sounds good in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Natural
Even
reverb.
GarageBand, it sounded
Exactly.
better.
Exactly. Get the reverb.
Yeah,
popping.
exactly. So I would go in there and I would like write songs, and I fell in love with songwriting. And I remember like approaching Taylor Swift and being like, hey, like, what do you do when, like, you know, you're in a writing stump or whatever, like asking her for advice and stuff like that. And she showed me a lot of kindness, like Ed Sheeran too at that time. So a lot of people that were like, yeah, just I think like I was stoked, obviously, because these were like my songwriting like heroes that, you know, just like I was stoked that they were like even talking to me, you know?
Yeah.
So the last thing I just want to do is quickly go around and talk about, you know, as right after we say, you know, it's got to matter most to you, but I know that it still means something when your fans and admirers give you feedback of one sort or another. So I just wonder, what is the feedback that has meant the most to you as you've gone on this journey?
I feel like for me, the feedback that I've gotten that means a lot to me, especially right now. Like for this album, I feel like, you know, tapping into my family, my roots, my heritage as a Cuban and Mexican woman. I wrote this song with this artist called Yotuel, called Lola, which is basically about, you know, actually it was before the situation that's happening in Cuba right now, where people for the first time are kind of rising up against the government and fighting for their freedom, which is something that's very scary for Cuban people to do, because people, you know, anybody that you know, rises up against the government or protesters will just like get disappeared, locked behind bars. And getting able to do a song with Yotuel, who with his and Gente de Zona song, Patria y Vida, kind of like started, you know, talk about music being powerful, like started this movement and gave the Cuban people bravery to, for the first time in like 60, 70 years, go out into the streets and fight. Like being able to do a song with him about the situation there, and, you know, my mom hearing it and crying, and my cousins crying, and my grandparents crying, and being like, damn, like she's like really fucking like, you know, giving a voice to our people and like lending her voice to this fight, and just being able to make my family proud and have my dad sing on a mariachi song with me.
You already made him proud. That Grammys, how many people get to sing to their
Yeah.
dad at the Grammys?
I
That was
know.
pretty special. So.